A billion, not a million, not 100 million, a full billion streams on Spotify. Let that number sit in your head for a second because most people will never truly understand how massive that is. A billion means that somewhere on this planet, at every single hour of every single day, someone pressed play on this song. Someone in Tokyo, someone in Lagos, someone in Miami sitting in traffic, someone in London walking in the rain. All of them at different times, in different moods, in different languages, all landed on the same track. Shh, turn the volume up, but keep it low. This is rap deepest secrets, the one place the labels can't control, exposing the codes, the cover-ups, the real cost of fame. Help us to a monetization by subscribing. Now, back to the video. That track is Tarot, and if you still don't know what we're talking about, then you've been living under a rock, because Bad Bunny and JHAYCO just did something that most artists spend their entire careers chasing and never catch. Tarot has officially crossed 1 billion streams on Spotify, and the streets are feeling it. This isn't just a number on a screen. This is a cultural moment. This is two artists from the island of Puerto Rico telling the whole world that Latin music doesn't just belong in the charts, it owns the charts. And the crazy part? This wasn't some overnight viral accident. This was a slow, steady, unstoppable wave that built and built until it couldn't be ignored anymore. 1 billion streams doesn't happen by accident. It happens when a song hits something real inside people, when it speaks a language that goes beyond words, when it touches a feeling that everyone has, but nobody knew how to describe until they heard it. Now, here's where things get really interesting, because this milestone is impressive on its own, but when you zoom out and look at the bigger picture, your jaw is going to drop. For JHAYCO, this is his third song to cross 1 billion streams on Spotify. 3. That's not luck, that's consistency. That's a man who knows exactly what he's doing every time he steps into that booth. JHAYCO has been building his legacy quietly, letting the music do the talking while others were busy making noise. And now the numbers are screaming his name louder than any press release ever could. 3 billion stream songs is a level of achievement that puts him in a very short, very exclusive list of artists worldwide, not just in Latin music, everywhere. Think about how many songs get released every single day on Spotify. Thousands. And out of all of them, only a tiny fraction ever see 1 billion streams. JHAYCO has done it 3 times, and he's still young, still hungry, still moving. But then there's Bad Bunny, and this is where the story gets almost unbelievable. Tarot is his 32nd song to reach 1 billion streams on Spotify. 32. Read that again slowly. 32 billion stream songs. At this point, we're not even talking about a career anymore. We're talking about a phenomenon. We're talking about a man who has rewritten what it means to be successful in the music industry. There are artists who have been doing this for decades and can't touch those numbers. There are musicians with decades of hits, world tours, Grammy stages, and still don't have 32 billion stream songs on Spotify. Bad Bunny has been in the game for a relatively short time compared to legends, and he's already sitting at a level that looks almost impossible from the outside. But here's the thing about Benito. That's his real name, Benito Antonio Martinez Ocasio, the kid from Vega Baja, Puerto Rico, who used to bag groceries while recording songs in his spare time. He never looked at the mountain and got scared. He just started climbing, and he hasn't stopped since. To understand what tarot means, you have to understand what it sounded like the first time it hit your ears. There's something about that song that feels like it was designed to stay with you. It's not just a catchy melody, it's a vibe, it's an atmosphere, it's a whole emotion wrapped in music. The production pulls you in from the very first second, and then the vocals, both Bad Bunny and JHAYCO bringing their best, layer on top of each other in a way that feels effortless, but is actually the result of 2 incredibly talented artists who understand their craft at a level most people can't even imagine. When 2 artists click like that, when their energies match and their voices blend, and the song becomes something bigger than either of them individually, that's when magic happens. And magic, when it's real, spreads fast. It jumps borders, it crosses oceans. It doesn't need a translation, because the feeling does all the work. People talk about streaming numbers like they're just statistics, but every single one of those billion streams is a human being. Someone who had a bad day and needed that song. Someone who fell in love and that song was playing when it happened. Someone who got their heart broken and played tarot on repeat at 2 in the morning because it was the only thing that made sense. Someone who drove down a long highway with the windows down and let the song pour out into the night air. A billion people, a billion moments, a billion different stories, all connected by the same 2 minutes and whatever seconds of music. That's the power of a great song. That's why artists pour everything they have into their work, because when it lands right, it becomes part of people's lives in a way that nothing else can. And let's talk about the landscape of music right now, because context matters. The industry is more competitive than it has ever been in history. There are more artists, more songs, more platforms, more distractions than ever before. The average listener's attention span is being pulled in 100 directions at once. Playlists change, trends shift, what's hot today is forgotten by next week. In this environment, breaking records is not just hard, it's brutal. And yet, Bad Bunny keeps doing it. 32 times he has crossed that billion threshold. 32 times in a world where holding attention for 30 seconds is already an achievement. That's not luck. That's not just good management or smart marketing. That's an artist who understands his audience on a deep, almost spiritual level. An artist who never loses touch with where he came from, who keeps that street authenticity alive no matter how big the stages get. JHAYCO's story in all of this deserves its own chapter too, because sometimes when you're standing next to one of the biggest artists on the planet, people forget to look at you. But JHAYCO is not someone you sleep on. He has been building his discography with the kind of patience and intention that separates real ones from the ones just chasing clout. Every time he has collaborated with Bad Bunny, the results are undeniable. There's a chemistry there that doesn't need to be forced. You can hear it in every verse, in every hook, in every moment where their voices meet. JHAYCO brings a smoothness, a melodic depth that adds another dimension to whatever project he touches. 3 billion stream songs tells you that this is not just a feature artist, not just someone riding on somebody else's wave. JHAYCO is building his own legacy, and tarot is a big shining piece of it. Now, think about what this means for Puerto Rico. A small island, a place that has faced more than its share of hardship, economic struggles, natural disasters, political chaos. And out of that island came a generation of artists who didn't wait for the world to come to them. They took their music, their culture, their language, and pushed it into every corner of the globe. Reggaeton, trap Latino, the whole Latin urban movement. It started in the streets, it grew in the underground, and now it sits at the top of the global charts like it was always supposed to be there. Bad Bunny and JHAYCO are the torchbearers of that movement right now, and every time they hit a milestone like this, it's bigger than just them. It's the whole culture winning. From the streets of San Juan to the clubs in Madrid, from the Caribbean shores to downtown New York City, that song traveled because it carried something real inside it. And now 1 billion people have felt that realness, which means Bad Bunny and JHYCO didn't just make a hit, they made history. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this situation, so please share your opinions in the comments. Also, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications to stay updated on this story.